Okay, I just got back from my first test firing of the Colt New Agent. It's the one on the bottom. They call it the New Agent, but it's basically a stubby version of the 1911, which is the one on top. There was a substantial, noticeable difference in recoil. After firing the New Agent for a while, then firing the standard 1911, it made the 1911 feel like a baby, I guess. 1911 is no slouch on the recoil, but I guess the New Agent, because of the shorter barrel, less mass, was a substantial difference in the recoil. That being said, the ability to hold a pattern was remarkable. I was able to hold just as good a pattern with the New Agent as I was the standard 1911. There's one thing I wanted to talk about, though, that got my attention, and that's why I'm filming this. If I zoom in, you can kind of see the dovetail on the 1911, how it swoops and comes up. I will run the slides forward on both of them to show you exactly what I'm talking about. But the dovetail on the New Agent doesn't have nearly as pronounced of a round edge on the end. In fact, it's a very small transition. Let me rack the slides in and I'll be back. Okay, now that the slides are racked forward, you can kind of see how the dovetail fits in the meat of my hand as I'm holding it. And as it's firing, it really doesn't cause any discomfort. In fact, it's pretty darn comfortable. Now, I compare how that feels and fits to the New Agent. And you can kind of see how it creates an indentation of the meat between my thumb and my index finger. And you can kind of see a mark there over time as I was firing it. I fired 3 boxes of shells between the two guns. Probably 75% was used to fire the New Agent since today was the first day I fired it. And so it definitely got the bulk of the 3 boxes. And also I wanted to see how it fired and how it felt with the dovetail. And as you can see, there is the indentation and the mark that it left. I figure if I would keep firing it, it would probably create a raw spot on my hand. That's the only complaint really that I have, and I'm going to do some research to see if there is a replacement dovetail or aftermarket or whatever that gives me that swoop. I don't know if the standard 1911 dovetail will work, if they're the same size or not. I'll have to do some research on that and find out. But if that's the only thing I have to complain about, I think I'm doing pretty good. Both of them fit well. One of the reasons I went with the New Agent as opposed to some of the other concealable weapons out there is I started off my research with the Springfield Armory XD single stack, and because of my hands, the single stack kind of made my fingers go over the end of the grip like that, whereas this doesn't. Just barely the last part of my pinky goes over. Another gun that I looked at was the Smith & Wesson Shield. It felt very good in my hand. The thing was that I didn't like was that it only came in 9 and 40. I was looking for something that came in 45. which brought me back to the XDS. But then once I found out about the New Agent, that seemed to answer all my questions. It came in 45, which is one I wanted, and it had a long enough grip that I didn't feel like my hand was too big for it. So yeah, so I'm very satisfied with it. It's got Colt quality as expected. Of course, with that comes Colt price. But the way I see it is, if it's a matter of life and death, I don't want to go with the bargain basement and rely on that to save me. All right, thanks for listening and watching.